Now, if we want to talk about things that were taken out of the manga and new things added to the anime, this episode did a perfect job of how it should be done. Everybody, what's going on? It's me, Captain Fire. Today's We Are Live Action. You already know what it is. Now, before we get started in today's video, I want to say thank you for all the love and support. Don't get it twisted. I see the comments. I'm not one of these big, giant, famous YouTubers where I get all these comments. It becomes overwhelming, or I don't have the time to reply. I want to say thank you to all the OGs, the returning viewers, the returning subscribers, and to all the new motivators. Thank you for watching. More importantly, thank you for liking and subscribing. And if you have subscribed, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe and give it a like. Now, this episode right here is my favorite thus far. I'm telling you, to me the episode it was perfect. Okay, now we see this time with episode 4, we get a flashback of what's been happening since episode 1. And I actually thought they were going to do something like that with episode 1 regarding all the arcs, or what happened to Bleach to keep people up to speed. But we see that didn't happen, and that's fine, that's cool. We got like a little love letter type ending credit scene, which was beautiful at the end of episode 1. But only thing I don't like about recaps, it feel like it eats away at the episode time, because this episode felt short. Not only because that, but when you enjoy something, time goes by. But I really like how it shows just the overhead view of the Serite. You see the flaming pillars of Reishi, and the camera is slowly turning. You can still hear the chaos. And of course, which is weird, this starts out with showing Hashwolf. In the manga, it didn't start out with Hashwolf. But we finally hear his voice even more. And of course, rest in peace, Walmart Eisen. I mean, one thing you gotta give it to Walmart Eisen, hey, he went out like a G. He didn't run. You can see he was nervous, he was afraid, but he died doing what he was supposed to do, protecting the Serite. So you gotta give Walmart Eisen that. But one thing I noticed when Hashwolf slashed up, you can actually see his Reishi weapon, his Reishi sword. In the manga, it was actually like it was just a slash. That I noticed. And then we get the introduction to my boy Asnot. I'm pretty sure I'm still pronouncing that wrong. I've probably been pronouncing that wrong for years, but we'll see when I actually hear his name in English. So anyway, it was just a perfect vibe, because come on, admit it. When you're reading mangas, you insert your own music. You hear your own noises with everything. So when you watch the anime of the manga, you want to see if they captured the vibe, the intensity of the moment by adding the music, because I said in my last reviews that music can really make the moment even that much more powerful, and they really captured this moment with that eerie, fearful, creepy, sinister type music. And the irony, this came out on Halloween, Asnot started with the F, the fear, you all get it. But of course, he wasn't the only Star Knight. I'm gonna keep saying Star Knight, all right? he was the only Star Knight that was shown, but this was captured perfectly, because when I first read this in the manga years ago, when he was showing up, had the Soul Reapers just pierced with the Reishi thorns, I didn't envision rock and roll or some type of epic beat. I was like, damn, they actually captured this moment. Shout out to the team, Kubo, the director, whoever, all the above who wanted that eerie music in that moment. They did it perfect. And then we're introduced to all the other Star Knights. They're getting matched up with their captains, with their opponents. But the funny thing is, I remember when I first read this in the manga, I actually thought that was just set in stone. All those matchups, I thought that was gonna be it. Sort of like with the Espada for the most part when they fought the Goaty 13. Now, years ago when I first seen this part in the manga, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on the motivator looking down at Ukitake. So as time went on, I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, whatever happened to that guy? And I remember saying, I think that was Askenak Lavar. I think Star Knight D, the Death Dealings. I think that was him. Yes, his hair looked different later on, but I guess maybe Kubo changed it, but I'm pretty sure that was Askenak Lavar. I used to think it was Kangdu, but you see he's fighting Toshiro. The Kangdu, Chengdu, but whatever. I call him Kangdu. So yeah, we get that matchup. Looks good. I like it. And we switch to the fight between Asnot, Renji, and Byakuya. And of course, is it me or did Zabimaru look bigger? When the one saw Reaper, holding his ground, other motivators ran, and you see he told him, "Why don't run? Our job is to protect the territory with our lives, Soul Society, everything." And we see Zabimaru come down. Maybe it was the angle, maybe it was the view, but it just seemed bigger. But man, I love the music they picked. They picked the music when Ichigo was getting jumped. Well, he was getting surrounded by those 3 regular grunt Quincy's, and then when it switched to the guitar, it cut to the meeting of the Goated 13. Because it's the remix of the original Bleach theme, not the theme of the series, but you know what I'm saying, that Bleach track. Forgive me, I forget the name. And when it switches to that guitar, I mean, it was actually guitar. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That part when, oh man, when it switched to Renji fighting Asnot, and that guitar just hit at the perfect moment. Asnot just walking, knocking it back like ninja, please. Like this, it was perfect. No complaints. I mean, to rewind it back a little bit, I like how Bombi had it cutting through motivators. They kept that super uncensored. And I swear, Kumamura, he grabbed Ichigo's hand like that before too. When Aizen was basically mind effing him, he was just shaking and shaking. That's when Kumamura grabbed his hand and look, don't let him get in your head. And go back to that. I should find it. It is just funny while Kumamura was talking to Ichigo, Aizen looking back just yeah, okay, yeah, he probably trying to put him up on game. That's the face Aizen had. Anyway, so, oh man, it was perfect. It was so perfect how they did it. And as you can see, my favorite squad, that's why I love this moment and the added things that they put in here. One thing they took out, I noticed, but I didn't care. I just noticed it. When he actually cut through Asnot's blood vein in the manga, that's when, God, I'm gonna get his name because I can't stand him. Master Masculine. When he said, "What are you doing? Like, you let him, like, how did you let him cut through your blue vein so easily?" In the manga, the anime, he said, "What are you doing?" And I like how Byakuya was just like, "Ninja, you shouldn't be moving either." And then he just fell down, and it was perfect. And the team effort they put in, the team effort, because you see the extra footage. He's shooting the thorns. Byakuya did the scatter, and then he deflect them again. And the fact that he's surrounded with the petals and they just blast away. That was interesting because it made it look like he just did it, like just with this spiritual pressure energy alone, but that wasn't the case. That was just the blue vein pushing it back. I thought that was interesting. But we finally get to see what that moment was in the promotional video when I brought up how I was wondering, like, what was that part? Asnot head looked like it was going back, and you seen the pedal right here. This was one of the best team efforts I've ever seen between the captain and the lieutenant. You see Renji wrapped him up with Zabimaru, and Byakuya jumped in the air, and just, you seen the pedals just engulfing that guy. So it just went all over his head. That was perfect, and you see the look on Renji's face like, yeah, motivator. Next thing you know, of course, it didn't work. And that's why his head went back through to the force, and I just love that moment. That right there, it made me look at the other ones fighting. You see Omeda and Soifon, then you see Tetsuzayama and Kumamura, then you see Toshiro and Rangiku. Look at their lieutenants. Not doing nothing. However, maybe they were ordered not to interfere. Or maybe they were just sitting back waiting. Because Renji approached Asnot first, and then Byakuya stepped in. But you would think they'd be like, look, let's double team this motherfucker. But this added footage, because in the manga, that extra footage was not there. Now, we did get a sneak peek of some of this footage in the trailers, but I loved especially with Toshiro versus Chengdu. You see that motivator. He hit him with the, and just, at first I thought he hit him with the traditional shoulder thing and knocked him back. But you see it stopped right here. It couldn't cut through the iron. I mean, Toshiro thought he had him, like, you can't use that arm anymore. Ice just, nasty, you're like, ninja, please. And ding, And it seemed like he did this, I call it the spiritual pressure flex, just and knocked them back. And you see Rangiku just looking. I'm like, come on now. And we see, of course, Suzumabachi couldn't get through BG9. He whips out the tentacle, whatever that is. And I hope they explain more about him. Him and Roy Lloyd, to me, are the most mysterious Star Knights. Yes, out of all the Star Knights, those three are the most mysterious. I mean, yeah, we got a little flashback on Roy Lloyd, but it just started out of nowhere. Like, oh, two twins were born and they can amendment. It's like, no, we need more answers than that. Anyway, she gets nicked, does the Bruce Lee wipe on her cheek, and she put on a smirk like, yeah, I like this. Oh, man. And of course, Bombietta, throws the Reishi bombs, Kuromori splits it, it blows up. It was just perfect footage. And then when the Bunkais get stolen, oh boy. Now, I'm pretty sure people would debate which looked better, in the manga or the anime. But guess what? Me personally, I don't really care all that much. Because now, in the manga, yes, those are some of my favorite panels when they all, like it was split when they all said they're Bunkais. I did like that part. Now, yes, they show all their Bunkais in here, obviously, but it was just split. It wasn't like all split panels. But when their Bunkais got stolen, that right there looked real good. But let's rewind it back a little bit. When Byakuya went Bunkai, I'm telling you, with current animation technology now, this is the best Zenbun Zakura has ever looked. I'm going to continue seeing my favorite captain, man, in all his glory. It just looked perfect. But one of my favorite moments when he did it, I believe when he was fighting Yami, the way he was just dashing, and he just dropped Zenbun Zakura while he was dashing. The giant blades were still coming up out the air. I love that part. But yeah, the way their Bunkais were getting broken down and absorbed, classic. And I like that extra added footage, that detail when you see the final pedal get absorbed. And I knew they were gonna keep this, as not just cheesing under that mask. Like that. I'll never forget the first time that was shown. So many memes was being made. It was one with that same picture saying, "You mad, bro? Like, I got your Bunkai. Oh well." And we see, of course, Toshiro calling out to Hanimaru, raised up in the air. Told Rangiku notify everyone else don't use their Bunkais. And I noticed another thing they took out. They didn't necessarily take this out, they just shifted the angle. When Mayuri got mad, idiots. I told them, don't do their Bunkai. Well, I told them they should have waited. In the manga, you actually seen how he was had his Shikai in his hand. And you seen his sheath. It looked like a weird, disgusting, crazy looking sheath. But I also like the little bit extra additional footage that they showed how he was actually analyzing, in his secret lab. They showed, Chojiro's Shikai up on the screen, and he was like, they don't seal it. Like, wait a minute. But you know what though? How come he didn't notify the captains when he found out? Maybe it was just too late. How come he didn't? How come he didn't do that? Or how come he didn't tell the other subordinates? Whatever. But what's funny how they say we can't beat them without a Bunkai. What about all that Keto? Well, I was going to say, they know hand to hand. Damn, you can't flash step the motherfuckers and snap their neck. But you see Kurji, Aeon, his neck was all messed up. He fixed it, so I guess that wouldn't work. But hey, who knows? And then I noticed in the manga, after Old Man Yama heard that news, he took off. But in the anime, I like this just as... But I noticed it also in the manga, Old Man Yama, after hearing that news, he took off. But I like this scene just as much when he didn't do that. I really like it because you could see just so many emotions in Old Man Yama's face. Like, he was just looking down on the Serite. You could probably tell he was still just feeling that guilt of not killing Bach 1,000 years ago. You can tell he was just still upset about the death of his lieutenant. You could see like the destruction of the Serite, like before my eyes, and just the fact that this may just be it for us, or spoiler alert for him, because he's like, damn, they still in Bunkais now, but whatever. Now, Robert versus Shunsui. I do like this part. However, is it me? But does it seem a little bit slower? I understand. When I say slower, at the moment when he went to swing down. I understand as he was swinging, they had to cut to the part where he said, I forget what he said, but then he did, I think it's in the manga, it's called God Step. We did the God Step and teleported. That wasn't really necessarily that part I'm talking about, but when he teleported behind Shunsui, when he turned around, it seemed like that pause was a little bit too long, and then that's when he popped him. It seemed like in the manga, it just felt so much faster in the manga. But I mean, it was still cool. And I know he had like a book or a newspaper, something in his hand in the manga. Who knows what that was? Maybe I'm forgetting what it was. But anywho, still cool. Nothing, trip over. Other scenes that was removed when Hashwath was talking to Bach. I mean, yeah, that's cool. They removed that. And of course, we see Shino and Yuki, screaming and mourning over Walmart Aizen. Rest in peace. Then, of course, we cut to the continuing battle between Ichigo and Koge. And of course, this looks very good. Man, the way he was flying over the sand, and you can see on the left how Ichigo just rises up out the sand, hits him with the Getsuga Tencho, and man, and it's the added footage and angles and animation, it was just so damn good. I like the extra bit right here when he shot those arrow spears at Ichigo. He sliced them out the air, but this time you notice they were falling. Like when he knocked them out the air, they fell when they hit the sand. You could see the grits of sand, the shadow, the dust, dirt. Little stuff like that to me goes a long way. I mean, I like that because why not add that in there? I mean, why not? I love it. And of course, the footage, not footage, but the quality of when he kept trying to take his Bunkai, it wouldn't work. And I liked, of course, just the CGI, whatever you want to call it, of all the energy in this series, man. It's like, because when Urahara, bam, shot the Kido right through his chest, just the energy of that, it was just flawless. And I'll never get tired of the way the Sonkaimon looks. Just the way it looked, the way Urahara was standing there, you seen it in the background, just moving and swirling, just looked real good. You see Ichigo got in there, started sliding, had the cell phone on, working his way. And yes, of course, that's when we all know what happens. He gets trapped and locked in. I like the animation of that, how it just closed. And again, they keep it uncensored. Thank God. You see Chad all messed up. Urahara got the arrow in his back. I remember the first time I read that, I was like, is he paralyzed or what? Like that must be a strong ass arrow. He's got an arrow in his back and looking like, but I'm like, that's what I thought the first time I read it. Orihime messed up. They showed extra few panels of Chad and Orihime with holes in them. And what's funny enough, the way this the way this episode ended, that's where the chapter actually ended. So I thought that was interesting because I get it. This added stuff or the stuff that they take away, I used to think like, are they doing this so they can end the episode right when the chapter ends so it won't end in a random moment that it never ended in the manga? You get what I'm saying? So say for example, in the manga there was a conversation between, Basby and Hashwath. But in the manga, because of what was added or taken away, now they gotta cut it right at that conversation. They probably gotta switch some words around or have somebody ask somebody a question or have them, grab their Zanpato at the ready. And then, it's that silence, camera zooms out. Then it's just to be continued. That's what I'm thinking. But, yeah, Elites, oh yeah. The Rose and Na. It's no wonder that just went over my head because I care nothing about Na. Why, yes, that was impressive. What he did with Aizen, that was impressive. However, Aizen was in the chair when he did that. So yeah, do that to Aizen outside that chair. But even still, it was a little bit impressive. But yeah, Na. Yeah, different angles in the manga. The way he said 5 minutes, and this it was different. And yeah, the Hell Butterfly. Look, from now on, it's like ever since that Hell verse one, not Hell verse, the one shot. Man, it makes you look at the Hell Butterflies completely different now. I'm telling you, it really does. But yeah, Rose and Na. I mean, Rose is cool, yeah, but Na, I care nothing for him. Nothing at all. Like, why they gotta make the brother look stupid, you know? Damn. I mean, even though Tosin, he was cool. His mask could have been a little bit better. And his freaking resurrection, good God, but whatever. Yeah, that's all I have for the Elites. I mean, I can't really complain. 10 out of 10 episode. If that's too high, maybe it's a 9.5, out of 10. But let me know if I'm missing something down below. I cannot wait for the next episode. Yes, I've been saying it for years. I'm still going to say it. Yes, that was Grimjaw that took out Colgate. I hope it happens next episode. It should. Hopefully they actually show, like just a quick flash, or we see a hood with some blue hair waving or something. I would love that. But other than that, we have to wait and see. And yes, I'm going to work on getting these reviews out early. My apologies. Again, hey, I'm not one of these big YouTubers that can just live off of YouTube. Even though to me personally, that's kind of risky, because anything can happen. I've seen a lot of horror stories. Motivators live off of YouTube, and if something happened to all their channels or their main channel, all this drama. But yeah, I still work. A brother got to work and eat. Because I'm working, I'm able to have internet, have equipment and things to do and give you this kind of pay for the streaming sites and everything. So because of my job, I'm able to deliver this to you. And I appreciate you all for watching. So give me your thoughts, comments, and concerns. It's me, Captain TheEliteace, signing out.